I am someone who could never finish the entire Quran in Ramadan. I always wondered how in the world anybody did it. I would spend like hours and hours trying to read, and as much as I could never get to a juz a day. And it was so defeating because I felt like everyone was talking about how much Quran they were reading, and every day in the masjid, or frequently I should say, someone would get on the microphone and talk about how this is the month of the Quran. If you're not reading at least one entire Quran a month, you're not doing enough. And it took me many years to realize that the people who were giving those lectures were native Arabic speakers, that they could read the Quran because it was their native language, that it was easy for them to read quickly because they'd been reading it for decades. And I had none of those in my background. And so I had to shift what everyone was saying is the best way to engage with the Quran in this month to what was realistic for my reality. Many times we speak about the scholars, like Imam al-Shafi'i read the Quran 60 times in Ramadan, and the scholars would leave all of the classes they would teach just to recite as much Quran as possible, which is incredible. But let's think about two things. Number one, they were scholars who read the Quran. That was their job. Like now, my job, I read the Quran, I do tafsir of the Quran. They knew Arabic even if they had to learn it because they weren't native Arabic speakers. By that point, they would have read the Quran many times in their lives. And that is amazing. It is an honor. We should all strive to be that way, of course. But Ramadan for them was like a break from their, typical scholarly classes that they would do throughout the rest of the year. And they would just invest in recitation because, of course, every single letter is rewarded and your reward is massively multiplied in Ramadan. But for many of us who have, other responsibilities, work, school, family, anything else, and I'm not saying that they also didn't have those responsibilities, of course, but living in America, for example, you have so much going on and many times you don't understand what you're reading. So Ramadan is a time to reset so that you can look at what the rest of your year is going to be with the Quran. So if you are someone who's gotten to this part of Ramadan and you are very far away from your Quran goal, reset it to look at what you want your Quran goal to be for the rest of the year. For me, at that point in my life, before I learned Arabic and memorized Quran, it was I want to know what the Quran is saying to me. So every single day, I would take a translation of the Quran. I would read the translation of what they were going to be reciting in prayer for that night because I was able at that time to go for Taraweeh every night. But set an amount if you don't understand it in the translation. If you do understand it, then in Arabic. If you can read Arabic but don't understand it, do both. And set a goal not for just this Ramadan. Set your goal for the Ramadan of the next 5 years. And the next 5 years, do you want to understand what you're hearing in Salah? Do you want to understand what you're reading? You're not going to be able to speak Arabic by doing this, but this is what I did, and it helped me learn so much Quran that by the time I went to study Arabic, my teacher was like, how do you know all these words when you can't even ask me, how are you in Arabic? She realized it was just like all the amount I had read in the translation and listened to with the translation. So make your goal that from now you are going to try your best that by next Ramadan you're going to understand more. So every single day starting now in Ramadan, start reading it in translation, start reading it in the Arabic if you can with it, listen to it as much as possible. Qariya, the Women Quran Reciters app, is available for you for free to download on Google Play or Apple Stores. It's Women's Quranic Recitation if you'd like to listen to women, if you're a sister. If you read like 5 pages a day of half English, half Arabic a day, and by next Ramadan, your Quranic connection is going to be completely different, inshallah. Do today what you want to see in 5 years for your relationship with the Quran.